All right, here is a video I've been wanting to do for quite some time, but these things are so in depth. I just can't see myself sitting in front of a camera, not in front of an audience, my students, adults. This particular topic comes up no matter what the age group is can you have an opposite sex best friend, right? Let's just talk about that. Should I do the Jeopardy thing? Do, 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 do. What are your thoughts? Now, this one is so complex that I wish we had a give and take, but we don't, so I'm going to give you what I got. Okay, here are many of the problems associated with that. So, no, you can't. I shut it down, right? My students in class, every one of them is like, please don't say that. Please don't say that. Because all the guys in the class have friends with girls. All the girls in the class have friends with guys. That's how we come together in the first place. We have friendships, and some of those friendships turn into romantic relationships. So, and let's just start with the first thing. The nature of marriage is which one of these persons can I be with for the rest of my life? And they get every part of me. They get not only my mind and my heart, they get my body, and that's a spouse. So when I have this question with students, I pose that. What is the difference between a best friend? What is the difference between a spouse or a romantic partner? Let's say you're not even married. And again, I'm saying this because adults, 50-year-old, I just had a client in my office some days ago where the wife said, I'm fine. I have male best friends. That's your problem. I don't have any romantic ideas of them. And she may not. But the problem is she may, or they may develop later. So again, let's just go to the beginning. In the movie, When Harry Met Sally, one of my favorite movies of all time. If you guys are too young to know what that movie is, rent it. I don't care about the old bad haircuts. It's hysterical and it's true. Because Harry and Sally are best friends and they talk about everything together. Everything. And they show their life as they go through it. And he says to Sally all the time, he goes, well, men and women can't be best friends because the sex thing always gets in the way. Always gets in the way. So let me be college professor first, and then I'll be Christine the marriage doctor afterwards. So let's just read some studies here. So I loved my textbook. It's Close Encounters. It was by Guerrero, Anderson, and Afifi, just for those of you that want to back up and go see what I'm talking about. Under the sexual challenge, they have found these are studies, these are research that says it is true that cross-sex friends are likely to think about sexual issues related to each other. In one study, about 50% of the participants reported having experienced sexual attraction towards a cross-sex friend. 50%! That means it's a crapshoot, guys. You may have an opposite sex best friend right now, and you may have no romantic feelings, but hey, it does not mean that he or she won't have feelings towards you, and it also doesn't mean that yours won't develop. It's 50-50 chance. But let's just say you know you'll never be attracted to that person. How is your boyfriend or girlfriend supposed to feel? Especially if they know it's a crapshoot, 50% chance. So I either trust you and hope you don't develop attraction, or I tell you no. The problem with humanity, first of all, is that no one wants to be told that they can't do anything. You don't trust me. Don't take away my friends, because when we choose one person, we have to give up others. And we are such a greedy humanity. We want it all, but we can't have it all. There was necessarily loss. When I married my husband, I couldn't call my male best friends every day. I couldn't just, hey, I'm talking to them 24/7, sharing my dreams, my joys, my fears, my failings. Because then I'd say to them, well, what's the difference between your best friend and your husband? What are you giving your wife that you're not giving that girlfriend? It's just sex. Because the nature of marriage, the nature of even a relationship developing before marriage is about intimacy. What is intimacy? You have physical, sexual intimacy, which it seems people with cross-sex best friends are like, oh, I just don't give them that and everything's good. No, it ain't that easy. Then there's also emotional intimacy. Why are they your best friend? Because you're sharing parts of yourself, things you're afraid of, things you love, things you laugh together, you build a relationship together. You build time, you share time together, and every piece of time you spend with your best friend, you're not sparing with your spouse or your boyfriend, girlfriend. But then again, what if that you do? It's like, well, I have my best friend and my boyfriend, or my best friend and my girlfriend. Unless the two of them are extremely best friends themselves, the two females or the two males, there's going to be a problem. So first of all, it's loss. When the two shall be as one, that means you have to give parts of yourself up, and so does your spouse. You have to come together. And the opposite sex best friends is one of those things. Now, I'm not saying you don't have to have a friendship. That's impossible. Well, it's not impossible. But the nature of that friendship has to change. The things you give to that person. There might be secrets I have with Danny that I can't share with my best friend if he were a male. I really shouldn't even share them with some female friends of mine. So naturally there's this thing where Danny and I have this, and I can only give little bits and pieces to that other person. So a friendship and a marriage are both intimate relationships. Best friends is even more intimate. Your spouse should be your best friend. If there's anyone else that you are closer to besides your spouse, the first person, you just got a job promotion, who do you want to call? Best friend or your spouse? Now, I know what it's like to be in a marriage where your spouse doesn't act excited. Again, everything I talk about, I refer to the bad years Danny and I had. So I know about what it's like that I don't want to share with him because he doesn't get excited. He doesn't care. And he may have said stuff about me as well. So we go to that other person because they fulfill something in us. But in that fulfillment, there's a bond that's being built. And you can only be tied to one person. So as I'm tying here, I'm necessarily pulling from this one. A couple more stats I just wanted to read real quick is that when I said that 50% of participants reported experiencing sexual attraction towards a cross-sex friend, this is even higher for men. So ladies, you can be clueless. You can say, well, my best friend, I love him. He, whether he admits it or not, because remember, men are visually stimulated. Haven't done that video yet, I will. He is more inclined just visually to envision himself having sex with you. Because the male hypothalamus lights up for sex way more often, 6 times more often for the male than it does for the female. And situations that light up the female's brain for conversation light up his brain for sex. So you can have the best relationships, but there's a very high likelihood that he's envisioned having sex with you. Because the studies say that it's higher than the 50% that men admit it, that they are sexually attracted to their female best friend. So don't get mad at your boyfriend for thinking your male best friend is thinking about you sexually, because your boyfriend's probably correct. And most of the time we women are either being naive or we're just not admitting it because we don't want to let go of that friendship. I know this. Many men that I talked with that I just loved. Research has also shown that sex between friends is not uncommon. Although most cross-sex friends see themselves as strictly platonic, nearly half of the college students surveyed in one study admitted to having had sex with a non-romantic friend. And then these same students report experiencing feelings of uncertainty after having sex with their friend. Let's have this conversation face to face. Let's find a forum. I would love to do a live podcast where I can take your questions, and I'm going to look for opportunities to try to do that. Maybe come to one of my seminars. But it's really, I think at the core of it, it's loss. We want to have our cake and eat it too. I'm just like you. And there came to a point where I had to realize only Dan could get my intimate thoughts and feelings, and only Dan could get my intimate body, and vice versa. So I had to pull back from the man or men I was talking to, and it hurt. There was a loss. Because I think of one friend that it was just really intellectually stimulating conversations he and I would have. And I had to go without those. Well, because it bothered my husband, and that's a part of myself that wasn't his. Or I should say risked getting too close. Because when you're intellectually on the same page as someone, it brings you closer. But primarily out of respect for your spouse and their feelings. If the nature of a solid relationship is building trust, and they know that you're out golfing with your opposite sex best friend, how is that going to build trust? It's a good conversation. Can't wait to hear your comments. Again, post them right here or email me at Christine@breakfastwithbacon.com. This one comes up all the time. Love it. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon, and I thank you for watching this informational bacon bit. And as always, I want to remind you to live your life sunny side up.